Hey guys, Rochelle here, and I want you to get ready to join in on this wonderful and amazing candy apple series on how to achieve your candy apple colors. So get your pens and your notepad ready because you're in for a special treat. Be sure to like, comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Now let's get to the video. Hey guys, and welcome to part 1 of the coloring series. Starting off, I'm using Granny Smith apples, and we're going to start off with the cleaning process. So in a large pot, you want to add some water, bring it to a rolling boil, and you want to destem your apples and check your apples for any cuts, nicks, or dents. You want to make sure you do that to prevent any potential pinholes or bubbles. So it's important you check that before you add it to your water. I added my apples 3 at a time. You want to only boil these for 6 to 10 seconds. Count to 6, take out the first apple and wipe it down completely. Following with the next apples and remove them and do the same process. Now, once this is done, I am doing the 24-hour method to just show you. You want to add it into a large bowl or in your sink and put them in cold water. A lot of people do the ice water method, but I wanted to save coins. So just to show you the difference in doing so, but you want to sit this in cold water for about 2 hours. Once that is done, take them out and dry them all completely. Remember, this is a 24-hour process that you're doing these same day apples, as they call them. So you want to make sure the apple has came down in temperature and then let them sit for another 2 hours before you start to prepare them. Now, I'm using a 6.5 by 5.0 apple stick. This will allow your decorated straws to fit over your sticks. And also, when inserting your apples, you can insert them at the top or from the bottom, whatever is your preference. But when inserting your stick, you want to insert them just a little bit, and then when you apply your decorated straw, you are forcing that stick to come down halfway, and that's where you want your stick to be. You don't want to go all the way in and then it punctured through the bottom of your apple. You want to make sure it's halfway in, so it will prevent from having any a hole exposure at the bottom of your apple, which will cause bubbles. You want to take a piece of paper towel after you insert your apple sticks and get around the top of that apple after you have inserted your straw and stick to make sure there's no juice sitting at the top. Now, these are the colors I'm going to use today, using the Violet by Chef Masters and the Liquid Gel White. These are gel colors, and in my large pot, I'm adding 1, 2, 3, 4 cups of sugar, 1 cup of water, and 1 cup of light corn syrup. This is the 411 recipe, and we're going to give this a mix before we add it to our stove. You want to cook this mixture to 300 degrees. Remove it at 300 degrees. Make sure when you apply your thermometer that the bottom of the tip does not touch the bottom of the pot, because it will give off a false reading. You want to cook this at medium-high heat. I'm using an induction cooktop, so don't pay attention to the digital numbers. Just make sure it is cooking on medium-high heat, and you remove it at 300. Halfway through your mixture, you want to add in your flavor, and I add in half of my dram. Sometimes I add a full dram, but I use half of my dram, and I add it at 250. When it reaches 300 degrees, I take my thermometer and put it in a cup of water, and we are going to get to coloring. All right. I'm going to start off with the white. You want to add at least 6 to 8 drops of the white, and you want to mix that in really well. Now, here's a key piece of information you need to know. If you burn your mixture and you add the white and the white looks beige, you burnt your mixture, so be careful. Starting with 1 drop. This was a little weak drop, so I'm going to add another drop to it. But you want to add a little bit at a time to achieve that lavender or lilac color. All right, so I'm adding another drop, and I'm going to mix that until everything is well incorporated to give me that lavender color. So the key here is to add the white first and then add your few drops of color to achieve these different shades. And you just mix until that's all, no streaks, no marbleization, none of that is in your mixture. You want a solid color, so make sure you mix this well. Now, in this video, I did not speed it up. I wanted you to see how this mixture does and come out in actual time. So we're gonna start off tilting your pot to bring that mixture to the corner of the pot, and dip and do a rotating turn and come straight up so that you don't get like a little lip after you have dipped, because it has to solidify first. I slightly scrape the bottom of my apple because I don't want a large opening, and then place it onto a silicone mat. I prefer silicone mats because the bottoms come out better than placing them on parchment paper. But if you do place them on parchment paper, spray your paper before you do so. Now again, I'm going in and doing a rotating turn to cover my whole apple. Sit that pot down, bring that apple up, give it a little shake, but don't shake too much. Or don't tilt your apple to where before it dries, because you're gonna have some mixture like that little lip. And you'll see what I'm talking about, because I actually did it with one of these apples. And again, I'm doing a rotating turn. The mixture is still loose and I'm able to dip. And this recipe for medium-sized apples will cover 6 to 8 apples. It depends on the size of your apples. I always prefer to use medium-sized apple. So for the coverage with this recipe is 6 to 8 apples. If you want to do a dozen, which is 12 apples, then you would do a recipe and a half. Add those together. That's the 411, and then the two and a half, which brings it to 6 cups of sugar, 1.5 cup of water, and 1.5 cup of light corn syrup. And that's if you want 12 to 14 apples. Dip using the medium apples. Now we'll get more into the apple sizes when it comes to these particular mixtures. And again, I'm doing this in actual time to show you. I am now on my 6th apple, and again doing a rotating turn. The mixture is not thickening, it's not hardening yet, but if you don't dip quickly and carefully, your mixture will harden if you take too long to dip, because this is a hard candy mixture. Now there you see I have 6 apples dipped, medium-sized apple. My mixture is still loose, and I'm still able to get 2 more apples dipped from what I have left here. So here are my apples all done and completed. And important information you need to know when doing the same day method, the ice water method, cold water method. When doing that particular process, before you dip your apples, be sure to wipe them down with a wet damp towel and then dry them before you dip into your mixture to remove any stickiness or sap from your apple. Now this is the apple that has the little lip that I mentioned in this video. Be sure to, when you dip, you want to make sure you do that rotating turn and bring that apple straight up so that it doesn't fall off, any mixture fall off to the side like you see here. And that's what happens. So If you have enjoyed part 1 of this series, give this video a thumbs up. Comment down below. Let me know. Don't forget to subscribe. And it's your girl Ro about to go. And I'll see you all in the next video.